Jordan Elwood asks us, is there any chance you could touch on the differences between flashes versus garter ties? I feel like ties are more casual than flashes, but maybe that's just me. So, what's the difference? What's the deal with flashes versus garter ties?
All right. Warning. This is uber nerd section. Okay. I'm going to go into history, did some research, talk to Peter McDonald. I have my facts. I think straight. We'll see what happens as things come out of my face hole here. So.
And go.
All right. Garter ties versus flashes. So flashes are the two flag things, and garter ties are things, basically a long strip of fabric material that you end up, wrapping around your leg and tying in some kind of bow. So back in history, one of the earliest examples that we have of garter ties in Highland wear, I'm specifying that, is the painting of Lord Mungo Murray in 1680.
Yep.
I think Adam has a photo. Oh, look at that. He is Johnny on the spot, or he's Lord Mungo Murray on the spot.
Is.
So this is the painting I'm referring to here. And if we zoom in on the actual, the garters that he has on there, they are a woven cloth about 1 meter long, and they are striped. If you look closely at it, they are actually striped. Now, this is how you tied or how you kept your socks up, because socks were actually woven material back then. This is before knitted socks. So you used these long strips of woven material to tie up your garters, to tie your hosiery.
Right.
Now, fast forward, this is essentially the type of thing that was used for quite a long time, and eventually in the, early 1800s, it kind of transitioned from the striped material to more solid color material. So you would have like solid red or solid blue or solid navy or things like that. But with the evolution of it came different ways to make it fancy. So what ended up happening was people would tie, instead of just, wrapping it around and tying a knot, why not make it look nicer? So there was different types of knots, just similar to like how you tie your necktie in a 4-in-hand or a Windsor knot or a half Windsor. There were different ways to tie your garter ties on the side of your leg. So there was more intricate ways to do things. And then from there, it even progressed to people that couldn't tie it, as neatly or as distinctly or, crazy kind of fashion things. People started selling, rosettes that you could actually use separately to tie onto a set of garter ties to give you that look. It's like a zip tie or one of those kind of things, where it's a fake tie that just goes on the side to make it look like you've really spent a lot of time and effort and you were knowledgeable in doing this thing on your leg. Fast forward to, let's say, early 1900s, as elastic has become a thing, has kind of evolved and kind of made its way into Highland wear. That's where people started saying, hey, you know what? Instead of doing all this stuff with the garters on the side and tying, wrapping around all this fabric, now that hose are knit, they're no longer woven material, but they are knit material, knit hose that stretch and fit your leg, but you still need a little bit of support to keep them up. Let's do a piece of elastic, because we're going to fold the top of the hose down over top of these things anyway. But we're just going to put the little flashes down there as a nod to what garter ties were. So it's kind of a nod back to what used to be as it's evolving. Now, fast forward to the 1980s, that kind of time frame where people started playing around with their hosiery in Highland wear and saying like, okay, well, shooting socks, they're similar. They're very, very similar to what you would wear for kilt hose. So people started ordering shooting socks, and what those would come with were knit garter ties. And a lot of times you would buy a pair of shooting socks and it would just kind of come with it. So that's, according to Peter and me, that's our guesses, that's when people started wearing garter ties with Highland wear, was because it was the crossover of shooting socks to Highland wear, which are very, very similar. Shooting socks are typically worn with like +4s. They're a little bit longer, but it's still acceptable. It's in the range.
Right.
Now, my time in Highland wear started in 2003. House of Cheviot, one of the premier kilt hose companies in Highland wear, they actually started in 2002. And since the beginning of their time, they have always offered both shooting socks, garter tie, shooting socks and garter ties, as well as Highland wear or kilt socks. And then they started seeing, in them offering shooting socks and knit garter ties. I'm trying to make sure I'm saying the right words here. Knit garter ties, shooting socks and knit garter ties always went together. And they kind of sold not quite like 1-to-1, sock and garter tie, but it was a pretty good, consistent thing that always kind of ticked along for them. When I spoke to them, what they said was they have noticed in the past 8 years or so around, let's say 2015 to 2018, that kind of time frame, they saw a definite uptick in garter ties, the knit garter ties that they offered being sold or being worn with their kilt hose. They have seen a more of a fashiony kind of thing as people ordering garter ties. So it's kind of come back around full circle. The neat thing with the garter ties that are out there now that are knit is they're actually a better solution for wearing with your hose than the original woven garter ties. The original woven garter ties really didn't have any give. It's woven cloth, right. And it's not woven, and they're doing it on the bias, they're doing it along the warp. So when you tie it around, it's that tight, period, versus a knit. It actually has a little bit of give to it, and the fact that it's knit, it kind of, and the yarns that they're using kind of grab at the kilt hose a little bit, so they help in that way as well.
Right.
So it's kind of a evolution / revolution,
devolution,
back to the original garter ties. Now people are still folding their kilt hose down over top of them, but it's a nod back to the really, really old thing where it started. So it's something cool and different that I appreciate now for where it came from and the nod to back to where it was and the utilitarian nature of the thing. So it's fun. So there's definitely an evolution with it. So to answer your question directly, which is older? Neither. Woven garter ties are the original thing. Are garter ties more casual than flashes? No, it's just a different thing, a different way to get to the same end, and a different way to kind of play with it in your outfit. So I love the fact that there are options. You don't have to just do tartan flashes. You don't have to just do solid color flashes. You can do garter ties and play with it in a different way. I love watching the evolution of Highland wear, slow as it may be, but people kind of playing with it and adding their own personality, but staying, generally speaking, within the rules. Eric, I'm long-winded. I apologize. It's a pretty damn thorough answer, I hope. But what are your thoughts?
I don't have anything to add. You covered the whole damn thing. Woven fabric garters go back to the Middle Ages. If you know anybody who's in the reenacting community, you may know somebody who's worked with an inkle loom, or even card weaving. It's a thing. Making bands of woven fabric was a very utilitarian thing for centuries. So it's not, it's not to be unexpected.
And I think there's even, I believe, don't quote me because I'm not 100%. I think it's the Scots Guards doublet, or Scots Guards are the ones that still have flashes with stripes on them that one of our suppliers still creates those actual flashes for them. Huh. So it's a neat, hangover, if you will, from the original survival. Thank you. From the original garters that were done on those type of old looms and having the stripes on them versus a solid color. Where you look at it today, and I remember getting a sample and being like, "Why are there stripes on this?" But I'm like, "Oh, okay, that makes sense now."
Awesome.
Yeah, because it's a nod to how it used to be. So that is the beauty of Highland wear, is you can be contemporary or historical, and like have this huge sliding scale in the middle and do it all at the same time, and it's just neat. It's fun to play with it. I'm too excited. Sorry.
Okay, it's all right. It's all right. Deep breath.
All right. Yes, indeed.
Thank you for the excuse for us to do a deep dive into stuff. It was fun to look into that one.
Hope I didn't lose too many people with nerding out that much about flashes. Sorry for the long-winded, nerdy answer on that one, but I hope you appreciate how passionate we are about everything Highlandware and tartan related. If you're just as passionate as we are, remember, please subscribe to the channel. Thanks, guys.